Hey guys, what's up? And welcome back to RHR / Redhead Redemption / Paige JXO / Paige / Veronica Vane. So you might notice something different about me, maybe. And if you've been here a while, you might be thinking that I done be having some explaining to do. You being like, damn girl, what the F, Paige? I thought you took those out. Why do you have them back in again? Now, if you come to my stream, twitch.tv / PaigeJXO, then you're probably well informed, but if you're here on YouTube, most likely you don't like watching streams because you ain't got time for that shit and your poops don't last that long. So, I thought I'd make a video to fill you in on my thought process in life as of today and why there is something so incredibly, largely different about me again. Girl, Paige, you looking a little bit more like Veronica these days. Why, I thought you were done with that. So I thought I need to address the full story. There's a lot of context to this, so before we get started, make sure you check out all my socials. We got big things happening, and probably there's a little bit of something for everyone, whether you like the side of me of being humorous, watching reacts, memes, the gaming stuff, the extra stuff. I do it all, fam. I do it all. I'm a multifaceted ass bitch. Let's get started. Why to get some big ass titties again? Well, if I'm being honest, it's because Asmongold didn't hit me back up, and I thought maybe it's because I didn't have boobs. In all seriousness, in order for you to understand the context of my entire breasticle journey and the wild ups and downs, I want you to know what got me here. So it's been like 4 years since I made videos. The chances are you didn't watch my old videos about why I took them out. When I was 18, that's when I got my first set of boobies. That was circa, well, actually I'm not gonna tell you when it was because I'm still 24. So the thing is I have a different sort of chest. I have like pectus excavatum, not a huge case, enough that my chest dips in and my ribs come out a bit more. It made implants sit on me a little bit differently, and by different I mean implants that look pretty big look fairly small on me because they just sort of like sink into my chest. I want to preface this by saying I never had like breast implant illness. I never had like serious physical issues from having implants. The biggest issues with me having implants was always my just like mental state about it, and generally like just feeling pressured to do it when I didn't really want to do it. So the thing is I'm not really a boob guy, you know. I'm like an ass man. Like, I really like super fit girls with like big butts and like small boobs. That's kind of what I think. It's like what I wish I could look like. My point is, when I first got the implants at age 18, it's because I was like a stripper and there were other influences in my life that made me feel like, oh yeah, I guess I should get these. But at no point was I like, yeah, I just really want big boobs. Now, don't get me wrong. I can appreciate a nice set of juicy tatas. I do think they look really good on me. So that a bunch of you don't think I'm having some sort of massive regression into the progress you thought I had made or something. So then when I did porn, people were very negative about how my boobs looked when I went into porn because I had been really heavy into pole dancing from age like 18 to 22-ish, really heavy, and I think it got to the point where my muscles sort of like, the implants definitely like moved around or did something because they were looking kind of weird with I think all of the chest and upper body stuff I was into. And so I was like, I did porn, I did my first set of scenes, and I was like, okay, I'll fix my boobs, I'll get a boob job. So when I went to get the consult and whatever, I just was like, well, these look really small on me, even though they're pretty big. They were like 400 cc's, if that means anything to you. So they were a D, but they looked like a B basically on me back then. So I was like, oh, well, I'll just get the biggest they can put in there that for silicone. So at the time, well, I think it's still at the time, 800 cc is like the biggest they'll go for silicone implants. And I was like, at the time, I had never even noticed having implants at the 400. So I was like, oh, this will be fine. It still wasn't me being like, yeah, I just really want bigger boobs. Like, it was like a combination of like my boyfriend at the time and then being like, oh, well, I guess if I'm gonna be a porn star, I should get huge, big titties. They were too big. I know they look big right now, but they're not that big. They were too big and they just felt like heavy all the time, to the point where like I noticed them And I think looking back, a lot of my issues with those the big ones were connected to a lot of my just like trauma, I guess. You have to understand, when I was in adult content porn, they kind of would shit on me for having fake boobs, or they'd say, oh, you'd get more work if you were natural, but they don't really like fake boobs, and it made me feel really bad. And then of course there's all the girls in their bios saying, oh, all natural, no surgeries, and it would just make me feel just like shitty, you know, like, oh, sorry I wasn't born with big juicy tits, you know, fuck. As much as I'm sure a lot of people were fans of me as like Veronica Vane, and a lot of it was the boobs, I never put that together. I was only ever getting told like, oh, it'd be better if you had a big ass, or it'd be better if you were, you know, had a really fat ass or something and you were natural. And I just really, I genuinely wasn't getting like any sort of outside validation, which you shouldn't need, but it still feels good to have a little bit of validation sometimes. I felt so, I didn't know who I wanted to be. I perpetually have so many different aspects of my personality and different sides to me, and I flip back and forth, and I struggle, and everyone has their demons, you know? And so I started associating my big boobs with like who I didn't want to be and who I never wanted to be, and I wanted to be a startup entrepreneur, and I wanted to be all these a funny YouTuber, and I wanted to get away from the whole sex stuff. When I made the decision to take them out, it was a combination of things. Me wanting to get away from Veronica Vane, plus they were pretty just kind of too big. Like, they weren't comfortable. They just felt heavy on my chest, and it was noticeable. And that was just like a constant reminder of all of these negative feelings. Then the last reason, well, last couple reasons, I at the time was married, and I was like, he doesn't care about that, and I'm not going to be doing any of this adult stuff anymore, so I don't really need them anymore. And then finally I thought, well, if I take them out while I'm young, maybe my boobs will like recover and they'll look like good enough. It was all of those combination of factors that led me to take them out in like 2018 or something. So the thing is though, when I went to get the explant, I thought they would fix my muscles. And because when you get implants, your boobs always kind of move a little bit like that. When you get an explant, sometimes they're able to fix the muscle. A lot of times they're able to fix the muscle. But I didn't know all this going into the explant. I didn't know, like, the muscle stuff never even came up. The doctor was just like, yeah, I'll take him out. Are you sure? And he didn't like inform me of like if he was gonna fix my muscles or not, or if that was an option or not. He didn't tell me anything. And if I had known that what would happen with the explant was gonna happen, I wouldn't have taken him out, or I would have just gone smaller. Because what ended up happening is that muscle animation thing was still happening with the small boobs, and it made me feel like kind of mutilated. Now, don't get me wrong, I liked not having boobs from just like a comfort standpoint. I felt very like light and airy, and just like nothing was in the way. It didn't look good, so I would always just like kind of not look in the mirror when it comes to my boobs, you know? I just was like, they weren't like terrible, but I just hated the way they moved so freely, and I didn't know that's what was gonna happen. I was uninformed, and so I thought maybe over time they would heal, and it just became clear around like 2020 going into 2021 that they weren't ever gonna heal. They weren't ever gonna stop moving so much, and it would cause like me to have these like weird creases in like the middle of my boobs. And like when you're like a 20-something-year-old girl, you don't want to see your boobs like looking deformed. And then for a long time I like looked into like muscle repair options. I looked into a bunch of stuff, and it literally became clear that they cannot fix it. Maybe they can fix it sometimes with some people, but after the consultations I did with doctors, apparently my muscles were fucked. Once I made the OnlyFans, by the way, I'm happy to be doing, don't feel like I am saying, oh, I fell back into it. Like, no, I'm happy. I am in control of what I'm doing. I will do what I want, when I want, with who I want, how I want. And it's very rewarding for the effort you put in. Unlike YouTube, which is not very rewarding for the effort you put in, but here I am anyway. Around the time when I first made the OF in 2021, I realized I didn't ever want to take my top off. I didn't want to do anything unless I could be in control of how they like look. You want to feel good about yourself. You want to feel confident. Otherwise, it's harder to enjoy the content you're doing, and it can get very emotional if you're not happy with what you're doing. I started tossing around the idea of getting boob job then. Now, if you know me, you know I have had some body work done, and I didn't want to do that at the same time as like boobs or whatever. I was always going back and forth on the boobs because the main reason I didn't want to put them back in was because I didn't want to commit to more surgeries. Like, when you get these, it's like, I'll probably have to have a surgery in like 10 or 15 years again, and then another 10 or 15 years about after that. I mean, maybe by then they'll come up with some shit that doesn't have to be exchanged. I don't know. I'm a little bit of a hypochondriac, and I just feel kind of strange about having plastic bags of goo sewn into me. It's a mental thing. You know, the whole idea of it like weirds me out. Even though I like how they look. I have, I think, the right sort of like look and like face, I guess, for being a voluptuous vixen. I don't know. That's what I should have been. My name should have been Veronica Vixen. I fucked up. I fucked up, fam. I did. I kept going back and forth on just the whole adult stuff in general. Not actually because of the doing the adult stuff. I know this is gonna sound weird. If I could like just put the content on OnlyFans or whatever, and then those platforms found the audience for you and put your stuff in front of the right people, like an algorithm, I would have no problems. But the part that annoys me is you have to have funnels. And so I always felt this pressure of having to like, oh, I guess I should be making like thought TikTok. So, oh, I guess I need to make like try on haul videos and like bounce my shit around. And that's the stuff I don't want to do. I don't want to make like dumb bitch content. Don't get me wrong, that shit definitely works. And power to all those girls hustling it out, girls. Mwah. But it bores me to tears. I see the girls and they just they come on the TikTok or whatever, and they're just like, and I'm just like, bruh. I just feel so like fake, I guess. I don't know. I feel so fake. Like, I don't mind being sexually objectified, but I don't want to only do that, I guess is the thing. So I was always dreading having to do the marketing because I would rather do this. I would rather just talk to you and wear a cute top and have fun and play video games on Twitch and talk about video games. I don't know why it didn't really occur to me that maybe I should just go back to doing the stuff that worked on YouTube and then just have that stuff as an option. Bro, I don't know. I thought I couldn't do, I thought I couldn't, I don't know. I don't know. It's occurred to me now, so here we are, and I'm finally doing it the way that I'm supposed to do it, so here we are. I thought taking them out would fix my mental hang-ups about them. I thought taking them out would make me feel better or freer. Every time I like looked in the mirror and saw the things I didn't want to see, it just made me feel the same exact way I felt when I had them. Even them being like messed up like that was like a constant reminder of things I wish I'd done better, right? You know, I come on here and I share myself as authentically as possible with you guys. Like, it doesn't always make me look good. It doesn't, but I'm not about that. I'm not trying to put on a face. Like, this is what it looks like. So yeah, I started tossing the idea. I've been tossing the idea around for ever since 2021. I had already had a consult about getting my muscles fixed or what I could do, or maybe if I could get a smaller implant or get something rearranged. And the doctor, and this was a really, really good doctor, the same one who put them in, was just like, no, like you pretty much just have to get implants again. With that said, I like them so much more than I thought I would. Now, I didn't go as big. They're 600 cc's, which is still pretty big. But they were like 800 before, so that's like a whole ass implant smaller for, you know, and they're not actually like from the side, like that huge, you know, they're pretty proportional. They don't like stick out like crazy. They're sitting kind of weird right now because they're really new, so it needs to like drop or whatever. But they don't feel heavy. I don't feel, it's really weird. There was like apparently 800. That was the line where I actually really felt that they were heavy. But I don't really feel these other than them just like being in the way and like sweating and stuff. But when I did make that Asmongold video, I read a lot of the comments, and I noticed a lot of the comments, people did recognize me. They don't recognize me the way they recognize like Riley Reid, but a lot of people did like put it together, be like, oh, it's that girl. Oh, I remember her from this. Oh, this is her name. And then a lot of people were like, where did her boobs go? She used to have boobs, and now her boobs are small. And there was just like a lot of comments about my boobs, and it finally dawned on me that your audience, and also the audience you'd like to have, would appreciate some juicy tatas on you again. Apparently dudes do like boobs on the internet. And also, you know you look good with fake boobies. And I feel like that was like the moment that I was like, okay, I'll do it. Fuck it. I'm like half serious about that, but I am kind of serious from just like I know all of you in the comments are just gonna disagree with me. You're gonna say, no one cares about your boobs, or I was here before you had boobs, or like whatever. Listen, bro, we're talking about optimization here. We're talking about min max, all right? Max DPS. Pink parses, not purple parses. So I feel like the little boobies, they were purple parses, maybe even blue. But we're going into orange and pink territory. And if you don't know what that means, just understand it's some gamer lingo for saying that big boobies are optimal for being an internet entertainer as a female. Ever since the Asmongold situation, and that's a separate video, but he really did a number on my audience and gave me a different sort of audience I've been really enjoying on Twitch, and it's made me be a lot more consistent, a lot more active on Twitch, and that's been pretty fun. You know, it helps. It just, if you're trying to grow on Twitch and gain an audience on Twitch, as a female, it helps. Now, I'm not like an e-girl. I've tried that stuff, but again, I get really bored. So I'm not sitting in a hot tub or licking a mic or anything, which power to them if they can do that, but I just get too bored. I'd have to be very fucking high for that, and there's not a good source of good weed in Tennessee. So that's it was all of these factors, my personal stuff, the thing that happened with Asmongold, the fact that I'm streaming all the time, and I just really felt like having some tatas would help make all of the hours I'm investing into Twitch more worthwhile. And so far, I think I was right. Been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate 3, having a lot of fun, and definitely have had a lot of different interactions because of them, because, yeah. So, I hope that clears up that situation. Hopefully you clicked on this video from my Twitch, because so many people are coming into my Twitch asking me, like, where do those come from? So now you have a whole video to understand exactly where they came from and exactly where my head was at and why. I think I look better than I did when I was younger physically. Like, I think I'm more fit and stuff, and just everything I just feel like works together really well, and I'm actually really happy with how they look. Really surprised by it, because I in my head had thought of it as like, oh well, I'm gonna have implants again, and I do think it's weird, but I've just been really feeling good about them. And if I am being honest, I have been getting a lot of really positive feedback and validation from my different platforms and on Twitch and stuff. And it's definitely helped me to feel a lot more confident, not just confident, but appreciative of them. And not to mention, I did forget what it was like to look good in lingerie. I forgot what that was like. So I can order like super cheap hoe lingerie off like Shein or whatever now, and all the bras just fit because I have boobies now. It's crazy. So I'm rambling. It's been a bit of a long video, but I hope you enjoyed. Hope you got a full picture of it, and make sure you check out my socials and check out me on everywhere. Love you guys so much. See ya.